You're watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
Boy, what a game it was. Looking forward to sharing that with you. Thanks for joining us here at 6 a.m. on this Monday. We know it's a little tough after the Super Bowl. We're here for you.
Yes, we are. Thank you for joining us. I know you are up early, maybe after later than normal Sunday night. Let's get you ready for the week. Evan, Ronnie, tracking this chance of rain.
We were saying, though, the game ended a little earlier than normal. It was only, what, 7:30 or so?
It was
before I was
late.
able
Perfect
to
for our
start
bedtime.
Exactly. Get ready for bed. Nice, perfect time for us. We had a dry Super Bowl viewing time here in San Diego. We know the bars were packed across San Diego County. Now we're starting off our week dry, partly cloudy skies, but we are ready to forecast a pretty decent amount of rain coming our way for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Here's what we see out the door right now is your current temperatures, 40s and 50s for the most part. Partly cloudy skies by the afternoon, really mild for Monday and Tuesday, and then this. This is what we will be talking about in just a bit. What we see coming about Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, several inches of rain possible. Details are in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Evan, thank you very much. And now today, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria will present 3 locations that can be turned into homeless shelters.
And this comes after a plan for a mega shelter in Middletown was scrapped. CBS 8's Regina Irita live along the Harbor Island now with more on these new options here. Regina?
Yeah, good morning, Eric and Netta. That's correct. And this mega shelter was supposed to take place or potentially take place at Kettner and Vine. And after so many people were strongly against this project, Mayor Todd Gloria announced on Friday that there are 3 new locations for a potential homeless shelter. So they're all in downtown. That is what we know. But let me walk you through all the 3 buildings that are in the downtown area. And the city already owns 2 of them. Option 1 is on the corner of A Street and First Avenue. Right now it's the city operations building, but it will be empty this spring. Repair costs are estimated around $45 million. The second option is a few blocks away on E Street near Broadway and 10th Avenue. This is the former Central Library building, which is currently empty. The cost to refurbish are nearly $87 million. And the third option is a privately owned property on 2nd Avenue, which the mayor says would require lease negotiations. The city also plans to nearly double the safe parking program this spring, with a new lot expected to open on Harbor Drive near San Diego International Airport. Now, the proposed mega shelter in San Diego's Middletown faced significant opposition and has officially been called off as of Friday. San Diego's independent budget analyst released its review in July, which found that it would have cost about $72 million in rent during the lease period. According to the mayor, this site was the most cost-effective option for a permanent shelter program, but residents against the project on Kettner and Vine are happy to hear it's no longer happening. We were able to speak with one woman who actually gathered outside of the building a couple months ago. Take a listen to what she told us.
Excited that this is not happening because it's a bad idea, bad deal, and now we want to be excited about the right thing being done for the homeless population.
And so during the city council meeting today, Mayor Todd Gloria is expected to announce these 3 possible locations and give additional information about what the future might hold for this potential homeless shelter. We'll give you guys more details as soon as we hear it. But for now, Eric and Etta, I'll send it back to you.
Regina, thank you. And this morning we are learning more about the steps being taken to amplify border security with the presence of additional troops stationed on both sides of the border.
CBS 8's Chris Groh live in San Ysidro this morning with the latest immigration enforcement efforts. What's happening now, Chris?
Yeah, good morning. And there's a lot to get to when it comes to both what is being done here on the border to try to stop the flow of fentanyl as well as human smuggling, but then also the immigration crackdown that we've been covering for weeks now since the Trump administration has taken office. We know that Mexico has sent troops to their side of the border, the north side of the border, but the latest development right now is that roughly 1,500 more U.S. troops are being sent to our southern border. That's going to bump the number of active duty military personnel at the border to somewhere around 3,600 troops. Now, their duties include installing concertina wire, providing transportation intelligence and other support to Border Patrol officers. Meanwhile, immigration enforcement might expand into L.A. The L.A. Times reporting that federal law enforcement agents like ICE as well as others are planning to conduct a, quote, large-scale immigration enforcement action in the L.A. area. That is according to documents that have been reviewed by the L.A. Times that says that the enforcement is going to focus on those that do not have legal status or are already pending orders for removal. Of course, this happening at a time in which Governor Gavin Newsom has set aside about $50 million to, quote, Trump-proof California. We know that about $25 million is going to be going to the State Department of Justice for potential legal battles, but then $25 million is going to be going to legal groups to help defend immigrants that are facing deportation and have some of these legal proceedings that are coming up. Eric and Netta.
Thank you very much, Chris. And now some San Diegans continue to hold demonstrations against President Donald Trump's policies. Nearly 100 people marched to the county administration building, calling out the immigration crackdown. Others marched in support of USAID workers left in limbo as the president attempts to cut thousands of their jobs.
And around 1,000 people in the faith community also gathered downtown yesterday, showing solidarity with immigrants. They held a procession down to the federal building where they held a prayer vigil.
So much celebrating, probably a lot of those people still celebrating. The Philadelphia Eagles, look at this, and their fans, they are flying high this morning after they knocked off the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59.
Fans cheered in bars and spilled out into the streets. Huge crowds, with some even setting off fireworks. Eagles star quarterback Jalen Hurts, of course, was the game's MVP. CBS's Danya Backus has the latest from New Orleans.
Super Bowl 59.
The Philadelphia Eagles are flying high, taking home the Vince Lombardi Trophy after a dominating 40-22 win over the Kansas City Chiefs.
Eagles! Champions! I am through the moon right now.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts was named game MVP.
I truly believe offense wins game, but defense wins championships.
President Donald Trump was the first sitting commander-in-chief to attend a Super Bowl. He had predicted a Chiefs win, but the team struggled to put points on the board until the second half.
Credit to the Eagles, man. They played better than us from start to finish.
In addition to the game was the much-anticipated halftime show from Grammy winner Kendrick Lamar, which included appearances from actor Samuel L. Jackson, singer SZA, and tennis champion Serena Williams.
When you can see the full field and all the movements and Kendrick was amazing.
This being New Orleans, musicians from the Big Easy were well represented before kickoff.
They include Lettucey, Harry Connick Jr., and Grammy and Oscar winner Jon Batiste with the national anthem. Singer Lady Gaga gave an emotional performance on Bourbon Street honoring the victims of last month's terror attack there, as well as those impacted by the California wildfires and the recent plane crashes in Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. Danya Backus, CBS News, New Orleans.
Woo, I like seeing all the highlights again,
Absolutely.
talking about it. Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Patriotic
yesterday.
Super Bowl it was.
It was a good one.
Fun one to watch.
We got some rain coming our way for Wednesday through Friday.
We'll take it.
Like
trudging in our direction.
Right?
A good amount, several inches. It looks
Good
like.
Cover
timing.
your furniture and things outside.
No, I mean, I will say, with pretty much every storm that we've had, we start off days before saying we're going to get X amount, and by the time the storm comes, we get about a half of it.
Yeah, sure.
So will we get the several inches that are in the forecast right now? I'd say this looks to be a little bit more widespread, robust of a system, and that means that if there are 3 inches in the forecast, maybe 1 inch for each day, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and not all of it comes to fruition, chances are high that we'll still at least pick up on 1 inch, maybe moving into 2 inches. So sure, there's always the potential that those forecast numbers give us a little less. In San Diego, as we know, these systems tend to already have kind of broken down by the time they reach us. But all of these models point to a very good chance for rain. Look at Wednesday and Thursday, 95, 96% chance of rain, starting to drop off by the time we get to Friday. So we start off the week with partly cloudy skies. That's what we have outside right now for Monday, Tuesday. This is the view outside for today overhead across the southwestern U.S. There's really nothing to be concerned about. As we get into early tomorrow, there's also nothing to be concerned about. Tuesday is a very mild day. Wednesday is going to be the day where we want you to be taking it a bit slower on the roads, definitely bringing in anything that you don't want to be getting wet outside. Showers begin as early as about 8 a.m. This is 10 a.m. where we see that activity extending from Santa Barbara all the way down through San Diego. Get a little pause there, and then here's that next wave that arrives by Thursday. This is 6 p.m. on Thursday. The more moderate activity right around Santa Barbara and LA moving in our direction by late Thursday into early Friday. As we get into Saturday, we're back to dry skies out there. You see how there's just maybe a few remaining sprinkles for Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next week, which means that your Valentine's Day weekend should be mild, but Friday itself likely to still include some showers. This afternoon, 50s and 60s on the cooler side of average. Long sleeve shirt, jacket, going to come in handy, especially if you're not in the direct sunlight. 62 for Vista and San Marcos, 62 for Poway. Let's look at your drive times outside. Right now, we are not looking too bad overall. We've got smooth speeds on the 5 southbound, 78 westbound, and the 52 westbound. Let's take a look at your border wait times as well, where right now it is a 60-minute wait, 1 hour at San Ysidro Port of Entry. Otay Mesa Port of Entry are going to take you about the same, just 1 hour in total.